Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining our business to business meeting here. So this is a very ad hoc event. We're going to try and do one of these every month. But let me introduce myself firstly. My name's Craig. I work for Multiplier, and I've also got Alex with me as well. Alex, do you want to run through what you do?
Yes, hi, good to meet everybody. I'm Alex. I'm one of the account executives here. And I'll be supporting Craig during this. Craig's going to show you a demonstration, but I think we need to wait a few more minutes yet, Craig. I don't know how many people have joined just yet, apart from Peter. So give it. Can you see anybody else on yet?
Not as yet, not as yet, but hopefully the room will
Okay.
fill up. And if anybody is watching this on YouTube, do keep in mind it is on YouTube. You can follow the link in the description box, or there's just on the ticker bar below the link that you'll need to follow. So yeah, do follow that. And Peter, great for you to join us. Do tell us a little bit more about what you do in your business.
So yes, we are Unity developers, which means we really specialize on building applications based on Unity graphic engine. However, like probably most of people consider Unity as a gaming platform, and this is something we do rarely. So we use the skills and capabilities of Unity engine to focus on every other industry than gaming, really. So we work with healthcare, for example, to do virtual trainings, but also emergency services, military, what else, and councils. Very often councils. So we do applications that are fun for kids, for example, for Christmas. They download the application. They're on the main square and they chase elves and Santas, and we help to bring communities together. So I would say probably 80-90% of our work is not related to gaming. However, why we are good at what we do is the owner of the business, Greg. He pretty much was one of the first people specializing in Unity when it came out in 2007. So he's not only head designer, he's a lecturer. He writes books. So we not only provide actual work, but we very often provide consultancy for everybody else. And yeah, this is us, Unity developers.
Excellent, fantastic. And do share with us your website as well.
Yeah, it's unitydevelopers.co.uk.
Excellent, fantastic. No, thank you so much for joining us, Peter, on this
No
call.
problem. Pleasure.
And next time round, it'll be quite good to get somebody else as well to present. So if you're up for doing that, actually, we'd like to find out a lot more as well.
Great. Thank you.
No problem. Well, what I'm going to do is, seeing as this is our second run through, but of course, our first for quite some time, I'm going to run through a little bit about what Multiplier does. So myself and Alex work for Multiplier, and we'll explain it a little bit more in detail. So, as it says, you can grow teams, outsource compliance, and save millions. Now, here's a little bit about me. I thought I'd put this slide in. It was on the previous one that I did as well. But of course, I've got a wealth of knowledge in EOR, telecoms, IT, and software as a service, spanning the last 13 years. But I've also been a manager, so demonstrating honesty, I should say. I created a word there, transparency and professionalism. And I do host an AFC Bournemouth podcast where I've had Professor Brian Cox. I've also had Omid Jalili on, Harry Redknapp, and many others. So if that's your thing, feel free to go and watch that after this as well. So, Alex, I'll leave it with you, but do you want to tell everybody a little bit more about, the
Yeah.
core reasons behind EOR?
Yeah, I think so. What we've seen, this has all come out of the landscape of COVID. A lot more companies now are open to the opportunity to employ people remotely in other countries, either for growth purposes or because they can't find the right talent in their home market. So, what multiplies core service, and actually we're a full employee lifecycle solution, but our historical product, which is most commonly used, is our employer of record. And if you think about Multiplier for a second, we are a global business. We service around 3,000 customers worldwide, who in turn onboard through our global infrastructure. I think it's in excess of 7,000 employees worldwide now.
Mm-hmm.
And so they piggyback off our local entities around the world to allow us to manage the taxes, the payroll, and pay those employees, and to manage things such as employment contracts and stay up to date with local labor laws. So the benefit for some companies is that they can scale rapidly around the world without ever having to go through what is usually quite a complex and quite expensive and often a painful experience of setting up entities in new markets, which can take many months. Whereas with Multiplier, they can onboard people normally in a matter of days and never have to set up a local entity. So the value there is that companies can grow organically, they can access a global talent pool, and then they can leverage Multiplier's global infrastructure to stay compliant and employ people correctly and offer them the same like-for-like benefits.
Excellent, good stuff. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you through a condensed version of the platform, but I do encourage everybody to get in contact with myself or Alex if you want to find out more. And there's also on this very channel as well, 5 steps that you need to consider when employing internationally. So that's also a very, very good video to watch as well off the back of this. So how can you hire in a few clicks? So unfortunately, this is the old platform that we've got. It has changed a little bit, but the functionality is the same. But this is how easy it is. So you can add the employee details, get them to sign the contract, the payroll setup, and verify the details. And it is as simple as that, because traditionally, what companies would have to do is they'd have to set up an entity in a location before they hire somebody. Now, that's all well and good if you've got 500 odd people in that location, but if you've got 1 or 2 people, let's take India for example. You want to go break into the Indian market, and you want to get somebody on the ground. Now, if you're hiring 1 person or 2 people, it might not be necessarily a good option to set up your entity, but Multiplier helps you get around that. So how easy is it? So this is how easy it is. So I've used, for example, the UAE in this case. So what you would do, you'd go to hire via EOR, and then you would select the country that you want to hire into. So I've selected the UAE. Now, are they a citizen or a permanent resident of that country? Now, if they are, great. If not, we can assist you with getting a work visa as well. So it's nice and easy from that perspective. All you have to do, click continue. Then you would just have to enter the basic details of that employee. Now, every country has got different laws, so this screen will change depending on the country that you've selected, to make sure and ensure that you're compliant and we're compliant throughout that. So you would fill in all these details, job title, it may ask for an address, it may ask for an ID number, maybe a passport number, and then you would click on continue again. Now the exciting bit, the salary. Now what you would do is you can set it as either monthly or yearly, so annually. So how much you'll be paying this employee per month. Now do keep in mind though that there is some countries which have a 13th and 14th month pay. So you need to keep that into consideration. You'll also, though, be able to see the salary breakdown for that employee and be able to see how much it will cost you, with all the contributions, so pension contributions, for example, and how much that employee would get as their take home, as seen there. So the UAE, probably not the best example because of the tax laws, but as you can see, the total employer contribution is 0 and the taxation is 0. But this was done some time ago. It was done at the start of the year, so that may have changed. And our system is forever evolving as well. So we've got legal people on the ground. So if something does change, we know about it first. Again, you can set post-probation salaries and stock options and so on and so forth. Now, this is where Multiplier is unique, and what we offer is a private medical cover. Now, the private medical cover I've got to explain this to you quite clearly. What it will do is it is a localized solution for your global employee. Now, what does that mean? Now, it's best of type. So in the UAE, for example, we use Dubai Insurance. In the UK, we use Vitality. We haven't got a one size fits all, which a lot of EOR providers will give you. So we actually find the best company for your needs in that location. Now, do keep in mind, in some countries like the UAE, it is mandatory to have private medical cover. And you've got the options there: bronze, silver, and gold. You can select those, and you can include spouses and dependents as well. On to the next screen. This is the leave entitlements and also probation periods, notice periods, non-competes. Now you can select these, and there is recommendations that you can apply on this screen. By clicking those recommendations, it'll add those on, but you can be extra generous if you want. You can add on another 20 days for your employee. It is entirely up to you, and you can even create as well other leave entitlements as and when you wish. Now, do keep in mind with the probation periods and notice periods, you can not go under or over the specified parameters in that country. Now, the reason being is, again, compliance. And again, with non-compete, it is very much the same. Each country is different. That will alter each time as well. So as you can see, and this is how you can add on there as well. Click on continue, and this is where the magic happens. And what it will do is it will generate a legally binding contract in that country. So say, for example, you're employing somebody in the UAE, you can get a legally binding contract by UAE law ready to send out to that employee. You just click review contract, send contract. It goes to us, it goes to your employee, and it goes to yourself. Of course, it's signed by yourself, and then that is all done for you. That employee will be onboarded on the day that you actually select it. And keep in mind, anything before the 15th of each month will be paid in that calendar month. Anything after will be paid the following calendar month. There is also a resources tab. You can order IT assets. So if you want to send them a MacBook, you can do. There's also really useful tools. So like a talent marketplace, there's the talent wiki guides. So you can find out a little bit more about countries. If they have got that 13th, 14th month pay, the taxation laws as well. So it's a very, very useful tool. And by all means, what I would suggest is getting in contact with myself or Alex, and we can run through that with you. We also integrate with a number of tools, and you can see some of the tools here. It is forever growing as well. So feel free as well to get in contact with us, and we can run through your specific requirements. Alex, have you got anything else to add to what I've gone through there?
Not really. I think the key thing for people to understand is that we just simplify that whole process of onboarding people to new marketplaces, allowing you to manage the entire process end to end through a single platform and a global partner.
Excellent stuff. And what I'm going to do in a second is I'm just going to pop on the screen our email addresses as well, just so if you do want to get in contact with us, you certainly can do.
I think one final point I'd make, I don't know if you're
Yeah,
near the end of the process, Craig, but it's just
yeah,
to
all done. All
remind people
done.
of the relationships that we will be liable for making sure we stay up to date with local employment law, compliance, payroll, and paying those employees in time. But the day-to-day tasks are set and managed by yourselves. Okay, so there's a clear division in terms of who's responsible for what, and it allows companies to focus on growing the business, managing the talent, and having less work focused on setting up entities and managing local compliance.
Excellent stuff. So if you do want to get in contact, I know that there's a couple of people watching on YouTube. Feel free to drop us an email on both of these email addresses. You can tag us both in, not a problem. One of us will pick it up quite quickly, and then we can run through it for you. And likewise, if you are watching on catch up, Not a problem at all. Just get in contact with us. And Peter, do share, if you do wish, your email address.
It's fine. You can find me on LinkedIn, and I'm on the
Perfect.
website. So if somebody goes there, I'm easy to find.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, go to the website. Just remind everybody again what the website is.
It's unitydevelopers.co.uk.
Fantastic, fantastic. No, thank you so much for joining us, Peter. I don't think we've got anybody else joining. Of course, we have sent out lots of invites, but a lot of people do accept them and then unfortunately can't make it on the day because of their schedules. It's not a problem. Of course, the schools have just gone back, haven't they, as well? So I think that probably messes with timescales and things like that, doesn't it? So, no, thank you everybody for joining us. I think we'll probably wrap it up there. But if you've got any questions for myself or Alex or Peter, do get in contact. And by all means, have a lovely rest of the day and we'll speak to you soon. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.